You ever come out of a corner and think, that felt weird? Maybe the bike drifted wider than you expected. Maybe it wobbled a little. Or maybe your gut just clenched because things didn't go quite how you planned. Don't worry, you're not a bad rider. Most of the time, it's just a few sneaky cornering habits that quietly mess with your flow. The truth is, corners are where riding gets fun and where it gets risky. They separate the smooth from the sketchy. And even experienced riders make the same mistakes over and over, from staring at the wrong thing, to grabbing brakes mid-lean, to forgetting that your body position actually matters. Today, we're breaking down 9 cornering mistakes that can make you feel like you're wrestling your bike instead of riding it, and how to fix every single one so you glide through bends like you actually meant to. So before you hit your next twisty road, stick around. Hit that subscribe button. It's free, and honestly, it's the cheapest upgrade you can give your riding confidence. Mistake number 1, looking at the wrong spot, target fixation. If there's one mistake nearly every rider makes, no matter how long they've been riding, it's this: looking at the wrong thing. You've probably heard the saying, "Look where you want to go." Sounds simple enough, until you're leaned over in a corner, the road tightening up, and your brain suddenly decides that guardrail looks very interesting. That's called target fixation, and it's one of the sneakiest cornering traps there is. When you stare at something, a pothole, a patch of gravel, or that shiny metal rail of doom, your bike naturally follows your eyes. You don't even realize you're doing it. You just drift toward the very thing you wanted to avoid. Here's the wild part. Your motorcycle can almost always handle more lean and grip than you think. The problem isn't your bike, it's your vision. When your eyes drop to the ground or lock on a hazard, your brain starts micromanaging your steering, braking, and throttle all at once. That's when corners start to feel twitchy and unpredictable. The fix is simple, but takes practice. Push your vision forward. Before every corner, turn your head and look through it. Not at your front tire, but toward the farthest point of the curve you can see. Lock your eyes there and trust the bike to follow. A great drill is to find a safe, open corner and ride it repeatedly. Each time, consciously look further through the bend. It'll feel awkward at first, like you're ignoring what's right in front of you. But once it clicks, it's magic. Suddenly the bike feels stable, the line feels smoother, and those sketchy moments, they disappear. Because the truth is, your motorcycle will always go where your eyes go. So make sure they're pointed somewhere worth going. Mistake number 2, braking mid-corner or grabbing brakes while leaned over. You know that feeling when you dive into a corner a little too hot and your first instinct is to grab the brake? Yeah, that's the exact moment most riders go from smooth to sketchy in half a second. Here's the deal. When your bike is leaned over, your tires are already working overtime to maintain grip. They're splitting traction between cornering and stability. The second you grab the brake lever mid-turn, you're throwing more force onto the front tire. And that tire has limits. Best case scenario, the bike stands up and drifts wide. Worst case, you overload the front and wash out completely. That doesn't mean braking mid-corner is always impossible. Advanced riders use something called trail braking. But for most riders, the golden rule is simple. Brake before you lean. Think of it as slow in, smooth out. You want to scrub off any extra speed while the bike is still upright before you tip in. Once you're leaned over, you switch from braking to throttle control. A steady or slightly increasing throttle keeps weight balanced, suspension settled, and the tires gripping. Here's a great drill. Find a familiar corner and consciously brake earlier than usual. Do all your slowing in a straight line, then lean in and gently roll on throttle through the curve. Repeat a few times. You'll notice the difference immediately. The bike feels calmer, smoother, more predictable. And if you ever do need to make a minor speed adjustment mid-turn, be gentle. Ease into the front brake or roll off slightly. Never grab or chop. Small inputs keep the bike happy. Sudden ones make it panic. Remember, brakes are for setup. Throttle is for stability. Get that rhythm right, and every corner stops feeling like a rescue mission and starts feeling like pure flow. Mistake number 3. Upper body tension, stiff arms, death grip. If your arms feel like you've just done an upper body workout every time you park the bike, you're doing something wrong. One of the biggest giveaways of a beginner, or a nervous rider, is what we call the death grip. Hands locked on the bars, elbows rigid, shoulders tight, eyes wide. It feels like control, but it's actually the opposite. Here's the truth. Your motorcycle is designed to be stable. The geometry, the gyroscopic force of the wheels, the suspension, all of it is built to keep you upright. But when you tense up and try to muscle the bike through corners, you're fighting against its natural balance. Every bump or wiggle transfers right up your arms, and your stiffness feeds that instability back into the bike. It's a vicious loop. So how do you fix it? You relax, but not by going limp. You shift the work away from your hands and into your core and legs. Grip the tank gently with your knees, keep your elbows slightly bent, and let your hands guide the bars instead of strangling them. Think firm but relaxed, like holding a bird. Tight enough that it doesn't fly away, but not so tight that you crush it. Here's a simple test. While cruising, try wiggling your fingers. If you can't, you're holding on too hard. Another good drill? Check your posture in the mirror before a ride. Drop your shoulders, loosen your elbows, and let your upper body breathe. Watch pro riders. Their arms look almost lazy, but the control is razor sharp. That's not magic, that's trust. The bike knows how to handle itself if you just stop interfering. So next time you catch yourself clenching the bars like you're in a bar fight, ease up. Your bike isn't trying to escape. It just needs you to stop fighting it and start flowing with it. Mistake number 4. Poor body position, staying glued to the center of the bike. You can spot this one from a mile away. A rider sitting bolt upright in every corner, stiff as a lamppost, while the bike leans underneath them doing all the work. It's one of the clearest signs that someone's still learning how to move with their motorcycle instead of just riding on it. Your body position has a massive impact on how your bike handles a turn. When you stay glued to the center of the seat, you're forcing the bike to lean farther than it needs to. That adds unnecessary stress to your tires, suspension, and, most importantly, your confidence. Now you don't have to hang off the side like you're auditioning for MGPT. Even small adjustments make a big difference. Try this. Before a corner, shift your hips about half an inch toward the inside. Drop your inside shoulder slightly and point your chin toward the exit of the turn. Keep your outside knee pressed gently into the tank for stability. These subtle moves shift your center of gravity, allowing the bike to lean less for the same cornering speed. The result? More grip, smoother turns, and way less drama mid-corner. If you're not sure whether you're moving enough, have a friend film you on a twisty stretch, safely of course. Watch how you and the bike interact. Are you flowing together, or is the bike doing all the work while you ride stiff and centered? The best riders look like they're connected to their machine, because they are. Their body moves in harmony with every lean and curve. When you start positioning yourself correctly, corners stop feeling like a battle of wills and start feeling like choreography. Remember, your bike doesn't just need input from your hands, it needs partnership from your body. Meet it halfway, and you'll both look a lot better doing it. Mistake number 5, rolling off the throttle mid-turn. Picture this. You're leaned over in a beautiful corner, everything feels perfect, until your brain suddenly panics. Too fast, it screams. Your hand reacts before your brain catches up, and you roll off the throttle. The bike instantly feels weird. It straightens up, drifts wide, and your heart jumps into your throat. Sound familiar? That's one of the most common cornering mistakes, and it's not just mental. When you chop the throttle mid-turn, You shift the bike's weight forward onto the front tire. The rear lightens up, traction changes, and the suspension loads unevenly. The result is that uh-oh feeling. The bike suddenly feels unsettled and unpredictable. Here's the truth. Motorcycles love stability. A smooth, steady throttle keeps weight balanced, suspension planted, and the bike tracking perfectly through the turn. Even a tiny bit of consistent throttle, just enough to maintain speed, keeps everything calm. The phrase to remember is slow in, smooth out. The fix starts before you even lean in. Enter the corner at a comfortable speed, one that lets you roll on slightly through the curve, not off. Once you've committed to the turn, trust the bike. 9 times out of 10, it has way more grip and lean angle than you think. Try this drill. Ride a familiar corner at a slower pace. Focus entirely on keeping your throttle steady. Don't accelerate, don't chop, just hold it. You'll feel how much more stable and predictable the bike becomes. Then, as you exit, roll on smoothly and feel the rear tire hook up and drive you out. Rolling off mid-corner is your brain's way of saying, I don't trust this. But when you stay smooth and consistent, the bike rewards you with total control. Confidence doesn't come from going faster. It comes from learning to stay steady when your instincts want to flinch. Mistake number 6. Entering the corner. Too fast. Bad speed setup. If you've ever flown into a corner thinking, yeah, I've got this, and then halfway through realized you absolutely do not got this. Congratulations, you've met one of the oldest riding mistakes in the book. Going in too fast. It happens to everyone. Maybe you misjudge the radius, maybe the corner tightens unexpectedly, or maybe adrenaline takes over. Either way, you enter the turn hotter than planned, panic hits, and now you're fighting physics with wide eyes and tense arms. Not fun. Here's the truth. The key to confident cornering isn't speed, it's setup. The smoother you enter a corner, the smoother you'll come out of it. That means doing your braking, downshifting, and body adjustments before you lean. Not during. Not halfway. Before. Approach every corner with a simple rule. Slow in, fast out. Scrub off excess speed early while the bike is upright. That's when your tires have maximum grip and stability. Once you lean in, you should already be at a speed you're fully comfortable holding through the turn. Here's a drill that works wonders. On a familiar twisty road, consciously brake a few seconds earlier than you normally would before each corner. Focus on being smooth, not dramatic. You'll be amazed how much calmer the bike feels, and how much more time you have to look through the turn and plan your line. Remember, there's no prize for fastest corner entry. The pros look fast not because they rush in, but because they're composed, deliberate, and already set up before the lean. Going in too fast makes you react. Going in prepared makes you flow. And flow, not fear, is what separates confident riders from panicked ones. So next time you see that perfect bend coming up, check your ego, then check your speed. Mistake number 7. Choosing a bad line. Early or late apex. You've probably heard riders talk about finding the right line, but what does that actually mean? For most beginners, line choice sounds like racer talk, something for track days, not street rides. But the truth is, the line you pick through a corner determines everything. Your stability, visibility, and how much time you have to react when things go wrong. One of the most common rookie mistakes is turning in too early. You see the corner coming, panic a little, and dive in before you should. It feels natural in the moment, but it sets you up for a bad exit. You end up running wide mid-turn, drifting toward the edge of the road, and fighting to bring the bike back in line. A better approach is to go in wider and wait to turn in later. This gives you a clearer view through the corner, a smoother radius, and a much safer exit. Think of it like this. Early turn-in means you run out of road. Late turn-in means you create more of it. Here's an easy visualization trick. As you approach a curve, position yourself toward the outside of your lane. Look through the corner and aim for a smooth, single arc toward the inside apex. Then let the bike drift back toward the outside on exit. That outside-inside, outside pattern is the foundation of good line selection. Practice this deliberately. Find a stretch of twisty road you know well and focus solely on when and how you begin your turn-in. Experiment a little. You'll start to feel when you're turning too early. The bike will feel rushed and tight. When you nail it, everything just clicks. Remember, cornering isn't about cutting the shortest path. It's about carving the smoothest one. Get your line right, and every bend feels effortless. Get it wrong, and every bend feels like a battle. Mistake number 8. Not adjusting for surface changes, grip variation. Here's something every rider eventually learns the hard way. The road is not a racetrack. It changes constantly. One corner is clean and grippy, the next has gravel, tar snakes, wet paint, or that mysterious patch of doom that looks like oil, but could just be shadow. Ignore those differences, and even the smoothest cornering technique can betray you. Many riders make the mistake of treating every corner the same. They pick their speed, lean in, and hope the surface plays nice. But grip is a living thing. It changes with temperature, tire wear, road texture, and even the time of day. The key is reading the road. As you approach a corner, scan for clues. Shiny pavement usually means less traction. That's your cue to ease off lean angle. Darker, coarse surfaces have more bite. Watch for loose gravel near the edge of the lane, or leaves after a rainstorm. And never forget that lane paint, manhole covers, and tar strips are like ice when wet. If you do hit a low-grip spot mid-turn, don't panic and snap the bike upright. Stay calm, keep your inputs gentle, and let the tires roll through it. Smoothness saves you. Panic doesn't. A great habit is to practice grip awareness. Find a safe road and pay attention to how your tires feel under different surfaces. You'll start developing a sixth sense for traction changes long before they surprise you. Experienced riders don't just corner better because they're faster. They corner better because they adapt. They're scanning, adjusting, and constantly feeding information to the bike. So next time the road throws you a curve, literally, remember, confidence doesn't come from ignoring the surface. It comes from understanding it. Ride what's there, not what you wish was there. Mistake number 9. Neglecting countersteering or poor initiation technique. Let's talk about the one technique that separates real riders from the ones just along for the ride. Countersteering. It sounds counterintuitive at first, but it's the secret to precise, confident cornering. And yet, a lot of riders either misunderstand it, underuse it, or don't even realize they're doing it. Here's the science in simple terms. To turn right, you actually push the right handlebar forward. To turn left, you push the left one. That tiny input shifts the bike's balance, creating lean. That's what makes you turn. At low speeds, you steer normally. But once you're above about 10 miles per hour, countersteering is how every corner happens, whether you're aware of it or not. The problem? Many beginners hesitate or overthink it. They try to lean their body into a turn without initiating proper countersteer, which makes the bike sluggish to respond. Others tense up, lock their elbows, and end up muscling the bars instead of gently guiding them. The result? Jerky turns, late entries, and zero confidence. Here's your fix. Practice conscious countersteering. Find an open road, pick a clear marker ahead, and gently push the inside bar toward the direction you want to go. Don't shove it, just a light, confident push. Feel how naturally the bike tips in. That's the magic of countersteer doing its job. Once you trust it, cornering feels effortless. You stop forcing the bike to lean and start flowing with it. Combine that with relaxed arms and good vision, and suddenly every curve feels like it's reading your mind. Remember, steering isn't about wrestling the bars or shifting your body weight around like a human pendulum. It's about finesse. Countersteering gives you that control, precision, and confidence that makes good riders look smooth and experienced riders look like magicians. So, the next time someone tells you to lean more, just smile and push the inside bar. So, how many of those cornering mistakes sounded just a little too familiar? Don't sweat it. Every rider, no matter how many miles they've logged, has made these exact same errors. The difference between a nervous rider and a confident one isn't perfection. It's awareness. Once you know what's tripping you up, you can actually fix it. The truth is, cornering isn't about bravery, speed, or pushing limits. It's about rhythm. When your eyes, hands, and body start working together, corners stop being stressful and start being addictive. That's when riding feels right, smooth, stable, effortless. If one of these tips stood out to you, maybe relaxing your arms, trusting the throttle, or finally understanding counter-steering, pick that one thing and focus on it in your next ride. Real progress happens one small adjustment at a time. And remember, your motorcycle is way more capable than you give it credit for. Most of the time, the weak link isn't the bike, it's our habits. Fix those, and the transformation is instant. Now, if you learned something here today, or if this video saved you from at least one oh no moment in the twisties, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. It's free, it helps the channel, and it might just keep you from learning these lessons the hard way.